What's going on, everybody? My name is Dr. Trav with Impact Physio and Performance, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys my top 5 favorite exercises to treat and manage your low back pain quickly and effectively. Stay tuned. Guys, thank you so much for chiming into my page. This is my very first YouTube video, and I am so pumped to begin bringing you guys this information. I'm a doctor of physical therapy, and I've been blessed with the gift of being able to help people alleviate their pain and functionally strengthen their bodies. I've been doing this for 5 years now, and I finally decided that this information is just way too valuable to keep to myself. I decided it would be absolutely rude of me not to begin to share it with you as well. Guys, let's skip the chit chat and let's get straight to it. All right, so today we're going to be diving into the mysterious and highly prevalent issue of low back pain. Guys, this is something that has plagued our world for ages. I don't think there's a single one of us who hasn't experienced it ourselves or seen it firsthand. So over the last several years, I've narrowed it down to 5 simple exercises that can help the majority of people suffering from these symptoms. And if you stick around till the end, I'm gonna give you a 6th exercise, and it's pretty much just my favorite. It's kind of a bonus tip and strategy for keeping your low back pain in check long term. According to the World Health Organization, the lifetime prevalence of non-specific low back pain is 60 to 70%. In this same article, the World Health Organization goes on to state that our primary treatment for low back pain at this time are analgesics or pain pills. In addition, the same article goes on further and states that really the true causes of low back pain are never addressed or rarely addressed. Guys, this is absolutely mind-blowing. We're saying we have a huge problem. We're saying all we're really doing for it is giving out pain pills. And in addition, we're stating that the true cause of it is never addressed. This makes absolutely no sense. Guys, this is like walking around with a nail in the bottom of your shoe all day. And instead of just taking the nail out, you're taking pain pills or numbing your foot so that you don't feel it. Just because you don't feel the nail doesn't mean that damage isn't still occurring. The same holds true in our bodies. Just because you don't feel the pain doesn't mean you're not still causing tissue damage, okay? So first and foremost, guys, if you're having pain or numbness, tingling that's radiating down into your bottom or into your legs, you're likely experiencing something that's called lumbar radiculopathy, and we need to get that pain to come up, back out of the legs and the bottom and back into your back, okay? So what happens is we live in a form of flexion almost all day, whether we're driving, whether we're at work, or whether we're bending forward repeatedly or just in a sustained posture. What that does to our low back, guys, if you guys can see on my friend here, flexion is just bending forward, okay? So what that does right here, if you bend forward too much repeatedly, or if you're in that sustained posture, we're gonna push on the anterior part of the intervertebral disc, or the front part of the disc or the cushion that's in between your vertebrae. What happens then, if you do that for a certain amount of time or a prolonged period of time, it's going to push the disc posteriorly or out of the back. And this little bad boy is what sticks out the back, right? And these are your lumbar nerve roots. If you get anything pressing on this nerve root, that's what's going to send symptoms down into your leg or your bottom, okay? Keep in mind, this symptom presentation is often confused with sciatica. So if you've been diagnosed with sciatica or you're experiencing sciatic-like symptoms, you're likely going through the same thing, and this applies to you as well. So what we need to do is take that pressure off of the nerve root. And how we're gonna do that, I'm gonna show you right now. So as you can see, this is the same as the cobra pose, or a simple back bend in yoga. You are lying on your stomach, starting with your hands directly under your shoulders, almost in a push-up position. Then begin to press your upper body up toward the ceiling while leaving your pelvis and lower extremities resting on the floor. The key on this exercise is to allow your arms and shoulders to do all of the work while simultaneously completely relaxing your lower back musculature. The primary purpose of this exercise is mobility, not strengthening. You cannot get your vertebra, the intervertebral discs, or the soft tissue in your low back more mobile if you're in a state of constant contraction with your muscles. Also, don't allow your hips or pelvis to come up off of the ground. You need that bend in your low back. Remember, keep the objective in mind, mobility. Our next exercise is called open books. Open books are a great exercise to open up and restore proper movement, not only in your lumbar spine or low back, but throughout the rest of your spine as well. You begin this exercise in a sideline position with your top leg bent in a 90-90 position at your knee and hip. Rest your leg on an object like a foam roller, and then place both arms out in front of you with your palms together. Make sure your spine is as straight as possible in a neutral position. This includes your neck and your cervical spine, so rest your head on a pillow to help you get into this neutral spine position. Then begin by slowly rotating your torso so that your shoulder and arm that are closer to the ceiling will eventually end up behind you like so. Make sure the movement comes from your spine, guys, and not just your shoulder. This is not a shoulder mobility exercise. This exercise is to improve the mobility specifically in your spine. That being said, the same rules apply with this exercise as did with the prone press-ups. Allow the musculature around your spine to relax and increase in length. Muscles cannot lengthen while you are contracting them. These actions are complete opposites. So then return to the starting position and continue for approximately 5 minutes as tolerated. Don't rush through these, guys. Find a nice steady tempo and flow through these movements. For increased rotation, you may add a light 1 to 3 pound dumbbell in your mobile hand or the hand that's facing toward the ceiling for some added resistance at end range. So now that we have the symptoms isolated to your low back, we are ready to move on to the next exercise, the supine bridge, aka hip thrust. Guys, this is by far one of my favorite strengthening interventions for beginners who are struggling with low back pain. So to begin, you can see we are in a supine position or facing up toward the ceiling with our knees bent to 90 degrees and our feet flat on the floor, shoulder width apart. I like to perform a quick test here where I have you lift your hips up toward the ceiling and perform the exercise without any instruction. Many times this will provoke your pain symptoms. Do me a favor and give me a pain rating on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being zero pain and 10 being excruciating pain. Now I'm going to give you specific instructions and we'll reassess your pain when doing it correctly. So now begin at the initial starting position and I want you to activate your core musculature and separate your knees and keep those shoulder width apart. If you have trouble doing this and feeling your hip stabilizers kind of activate, you can put a band around your knees and this will help you to activate those hip stabilizers or the muscles on the outside of your hip. Now that you have your knees separate and your core nice and tight, keep those contractions and I want you to drive your hips up toward the ceiling using your glutes and your hamstrings and really driving through the heels of your feet. Go until you have a straight line from your shoulders to your knees and then slowly control yourself back down to the floor while keeping all of those muscular contractions nice and tight. Now, do the exact same movement with proper instructions. Give me a pain rating from 0 to 10. If your pain is diminished, that's a huge indicator that one of the fundamental problems and one of the sources of your low back pain is coming from a lack of fundamental core strength. So this is a great exercise for you. The infamous bird dog. Guys, this is such a great exercise that is very rarely performed correctly. So let's fix that today. Here are the do's and don'ts of the bird dog. So you're going to be on all fours for this one. There are 3 different versions that I will briefly discuss. For beginners, begin by extending one arm out in front of you, while your main focus should not be allowing any movement in your pelvis and low back. This is training your low back and spine to remain stable while your extremities move, something that our bodies require of us all day, every day. If you can stabilize here fairly easily, move on to extending one leg out at a time as shown here. Alternate and try to notice if there are any differences from one side to the other. This will help you identify muscle imbalances that could be contributing to the issues in your low back. If one side is easier than the other, that's okay. That just identifies a weakness that we need to work on. Once you've mastered that, now you're going to extend one arm out while simultaneously extending the opposite leg. The key here, again guys, is to keep your pelvis and your spine as still as possible throughout by keeping a firm isometric contraction of your core. Pretend you are trying to keep your belly button facing directly toward the ground without tilting your spine and pelvis when transitioning from one side to the other. Again, always keep the objective of each exercise in mind. This is a strengthening intervention, so focus on keeping a nice, firm, strong core throughout. Supermans. Everybody, let me tell you, this one is so very, very important. We live in a world where we always work on the muscles on the anterior or the front side of our body and tend to neglect our posterior musculature or the muscles on the back side of our body. Add these into your low back pain routine and I guarantee you will begin correcting some of the muscle imbalances that you never even knew you had. We're going to be in a prone position for this one, gang, so hop on your bellies and extend your arms out in front of you. To begin, you're going to lift your arms up toward the ceiling while simultaneously lifting your legs up toward the ceiling. Trust me, this is much harder than it looks. Try holding for 2 to 5 seconds up top with all of the muscles on the back side of your body nice and tight. If you find that fairly easy, give me a solid 10-second isometric hold up top and continue to repeat this for 2 to 5 minutes with several seconds of rest in between. Now that you're feeling like Superman, you can tweak this one to challenge your spinal stabilizers a little bit further by performing the same movement, however with one arm and the opposite leg going at the same time, while the opposite arm and leg are just going to remain on the mat. This is going to recruit what's called your posterior oblique sling, which consists of several muscle groups that work in unison to provide support on the backside of your body. Alright y'all, and for being so amazing and sticking with me till the end on this, I've added in a bonus tip as promised. My favorite trick to keep my core engaged during my workouts in particular, planks. Guys, these are by far one of my favorites. Begin performing planks before your workouts and in between sets when exercising and lifting weights. This will keep your core muscles engaged and prevent you from injuring yourself during your heavy lifts. You can utilize these with almost every exercise you do, as most of your strength requires good core stability regardless. So you begin on your stomach and then lift yourself onto your forearms and the balls of your feet as shown above. Maintain this position for as long as you can before losing your form. Shoot for 10 seconds to a minute depending on your endurance. Once you begin to lose form or your stomach starts to sink toward the floor and you can't maintain a firm straight line from your shoulders to your feet, rest and allow your muscles to recuperate before beginning again or returning to your other exercises. I know that was a lot to digest, so come back and watch the video again or click the link in the corner to download my free PDF that covers all of this information and take it with you wherever you go. So that's it guys, 6 simple exercises that can change your life dramatically. Think of these exercises as yourself building a back brace and all you're trying to do is stabilize your lumbar spine. Guys, if you like this stuff, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. You'll get a notification if you click the little bell icon. It'll let you know when I get new videos. Go ahead and share this with your family and friends, guys. Pass it along so that way everybody can start to get their back pain a little bit better. Hit the like button, share it, and also in the comments, let me know what you want to see in the future so that I can start producing content that you guys want to hear. Thank you for the love and take care.